Today we're going to react to a really interesting conversation about the Leafs and a question that a lot of people have been asking over the past few weeks. This team that seemed stuck, slow and predictable at the start of the season is now playing in a completely different and better way. The discussion revolves around identity, changes on the ice, and how long this phase can really last, despite the last loss, of course. So let's react together and try to understand what has actually changed with this team. But before we start, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to keep bringing you updates.
Johnny, what is your explanation? Hayes made a comment earlier when we first started that they look like they're playing fast. So how did a team that at the beginning of the year, all of our commentary was they're slow, they play so slow, blah, blah, blah. How did they flip the switch in that transition where last night they looked fast? Follow-up question, how long do you think that they can continue what they did the last 10 games, the way they played last night? Basically, who are they? Are they kind of the team that we first saw at the beginning of the season, or the last 10 games, or is it something in between?
I mean, the second question is easier to answer. Oh, it's always something in between, right? They're not 8-0-2 perfect. They're not worst place in the East terrible. They are a good team that is flawed like every team in the league, I guess, other than Colorado. And that's probably where they'll end up, and that should be enough to get to the playoffs. The other question is an interesting one, though. Like, why? And you're right. Like I said it, they look slow. And it wasn't always about the fact that they skated slow, although, they don't have a fast group of skaters other than Bobby McMann. Hello, rocket ship on the breakaway goal. That was crazy speed. But I think what's happened is that they've adapted the way they move the puck up the ice so that the long pass, stationary chip, cross ice chase is not a staple of every shift, because that was what made them look slow. Guys were standing still at the far blue line. Puck would come up, they'd chip it in. They'd have to get going from a standstill to a defenseman that was already down at the hash marks picking up pucks. And they were always chasing and a step slow and a step behind and never could quite catch up. I think they're moving the puck up better now. They're bringing a couple forwards a bit closer to the defenseman, so there's speed through the neutral zone. Even if it's not a rush, even if it's a chase, there's more speed to go along with it. But there's also just, to me, a lot more possession on the entry. And when you have it, it's easier to move sort of quickly with it or to pass it to where you want it as opposed to chasing it. And you put all that together, and they're getting more out of it. One more factor, I think, whatever Austin did at Christmas, I have no idea. Fact of the matter is he's playing better. So, he gets better, they look better. He looks faster, team looks better. He played 26 minutes last night and was, a very good player for them against a difficult opponent. So there's him. But I think it's Michelli all of a sudden looks like a pretty crafty player, like a pretty useful guy. He looked lost to begin with. I think Nick Robertson, tough injury last night, blocking a shot. He is a quick player. He looks like he's more comfortable. Bobby McMann has found a role in a comfort zone, is playing better than he ever has in his life, to the point where I'm reading stuff about what's it going to cost to keep him. $5 million or more. We'll get to that another day. And Max Domi kind of finding a consistent role. You have these guys now playing more confidence.
Hang on a sec. You can't blurt that out. What player did you just say is talking about $5 million?
So, if you have a middle six winger,
give me the player.
Bobby McMann is the player he's saying.
Bobby Boucher McMann, number 74, the third fastest player in the world. That's who I'm talking about. You give me a middle six guy who scores you 25 goals and gets you 50 points almost exclusively at 5-on-5, who will not hurt you defensively when the salary cap's $115 million. That guy is a $4 to $5 million player. That's what he's costs.
Are those the numbers we're anticipating? Like he's got 14 goals and 24 points. So I guess he's on pace.
So let's say 23.
Guys, you know what's scary? Hang on a sec.
Wow.
You know what's scary? Even if he ended the season with 14, he would still say, I'm a $4 million player.
Yeah, I mean, inflation is a part of this, right? The cap goes up. Everyone's getting more money than they did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I just think what's interesting with McMann is he's still somewhat of a nomad within the lineup. within his own team. Like,
Yeah.
he was on the first line for a while, and then all of a sudden, Willie comes back, so Nyes goes up, and he's on the fourth line, and Robertson gets hurt, so he gets a little bit more ice. Like, that's where it's kind of tough to figure out exactly what his role is. Like, he's anywhere from the first line to the fourth line. He's like a utility player in a way. But because of the way he skates, and he can play with some snarl, like he's a big boy that he can hit, he can fight. Yeah, I mean he's a useful player. I got to give props to him. Now I will say this: down the stretch last year, he really struggled. I thought he was terrible in the playoffs. Terrible in the playoffs. So he's got to complete it. You know, I'm as guilty as anyone else of getting out in front of the projection game. If he doesn't finish it, he fades, or they get into the playoffs and he performs poorly again, we might have to recalibrate. But as of right now, Bobby McMann is playing as well as you could expect him to play. He's been an impact
Totally
player.
fair, Hayes.
Yep.
Totally fair. The playoff and the stretch run, absolutely correct and accurate. And if he does it again, then all that talk we just had is out the window for sure. But yeah, and I think the fact that he slides up and down the roster is less an indictment of him and more a commentary on the one-dimensionalism of the guys ahead of him. Like, I don't know if you want Michelli on the fourth line or Max Domi on the fourth line. Those guys can't do it there. Not that they do the second or third line better than McMann, but they can't go further down the lineup. They just don't have that part to their game. He can do that and offer something different. So I think that is almost a testament to his versatility, or maybe, you know, the limitations of some of the guys that can't go down the lineup. But I just say, like, he's been really, really good. He leads the team in penalty minutes. Like, you know, it's wild. Like, he does offer, you know, a bit of bite in a non-fighting kind of way, in a sort of new NHL way that the Leafs want and need. So anyways, he's been really, really good. And you want to talk about playing fast? He's exhibit A of a guy, when he's confident, he's as fast as anybody in the league.
Quick reminder for Leafs Nation. If you're a diehard Toronto fan and you're still bleeding blue and white, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It's the best way to stay updated every single day on our journey.
After all that, it's clear that what stands out the most is how the team looks completely different on the ice. Before, it felt like they were always chasing the game, getting to plays late, looking slow, even when they weren't actually slow. Now, the way they move around completely changes that impression. When you move the puck better, bring the players closer together, and keep more possession, everything just looks faster. It's not about skating, it's about decision-making, positioning, and confidence. And when that clicks, the whole team steps up. The conversation makes it clear that this current Leafs team isn't perfect, but they're also far from that lost team at the start of the season. The truth, as was said, is probably somewhere in the middle, despite the last loss where they really fell short. Another interesting point is how some players have grown during this process, and that gives the team a whole new dimension. Now, the real test is going to be keeping this up, right? This new style of play when the schedule gets tough, and especially in the playoff. We've seen this movie before, where the good stretch doesn't hold up when it matters most. So the challenge isn't proving they can play like this for 10 games, but for months. If they can pull that off, then you can really say the Leafs have finally found out who they are, a new identity. If not, all this talk just turns into another passing hype, you know, just something emotional from the fans. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you more reaction videos. But thank you so much for your attention.